Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 5-Star Joshi Show here on the Fight Game Media Network, as well as my YouTube channel, Scott E Wrestling, youtube.com/ at Scott E Wrestling. Thank you, everyone, for joining me here today. We have a very big episode talking the Cinderella Tournament Final, talking TJPW Grand Princess, talking Sendai Girls, the top of Joshi Pro Wrestling, and so much more. We'll set the stage for what's to come in the coming week, as well as we always do. But hello, everyone. I'm always excited to get back at it here on the 5-Star. It's just the best time of the year for Joshi Wrestling because oftentimes March leads into a very big May, and as we know, the next couple months are going to be massive if you are a fan. But this past week was as big as any this year, I think. It's going to be tough to beat the Cinderella final, Grand Princess, and the top of Joshi Wrestling in terms of big major shows back to back to back. So, if you're enjoying Joshi Wrestling, if you're appreciating Joshi Wrestling, if you love Joshi Wrestling, I ask you to make sure to please like, comment, and subscribe. Comment anything you feel about this episode. Let me know what your thoughts were about the Cinderella tournament, the Sendai Girls, top of Joshi Wrestling, TJPW's Grand Princess show, and really anything. What is your thoughts overall on this year in Joshi? If you're over on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you're listening on the MP3, thank you as always for supporting us here at Fight Game Media. Very happy to continue being part of that team. But let's get to it because we have so much time. I'm on 3.5 hours of sleep, and there's no time to waste. We're here for the Joshi content, and that is what this channel is all about. I will ask you all, if you haven't already, go check out my review alongside Xavier on the YouTube channel. Like I said, youtube.com/at Scott E Wrestling. We did do an instant review of Check It Out, Hiro Hashimoto versus Meiko Satomura from the top of Joshi Wrestling. Of course, I'll be talking about it more in depth today, a little bit removed, but that was an instant reaction, which I like to do. I'm also finally again diving back into the AJW tapes. So I do have another series prepared called the Joshi Rewind. That is something to look forward to. I've been kind of, putting it together. We're going to do it for the biggest matches though, because I'm slowly watching. There's a lot that I'm watching, but that's something to look forward to as well. I also have a few other series in the makings, hoping to bring Trent back into the fold. It's been a long time since me and Trent got to do some content together as well. So, lot to look forward to here on the channel and overall from me. So, I appreciate anyone and everyone who continues to support me along the way. But that's it. Now we'll move on to the rest of the show. That, of course, starts us, as always, with Stardom. If this is your first time here, if this is your first time watching, welcome. We always like to kick off the show with Stardom and what they have going on, what the top promotion in the world of Joshi has going on. And it's hard not to after this week. They have so much going on in the world of Joshi. They are involved in everything. They are going and going and going, but at the same time, almost more importantly, they have their own stuff. And of course, we had the Cinderella tournament this weekend. The finals were concluded. We have our winner. A wish has been, well, not granted, but has been given officially to our winner. We also had a Wonder of Stardom Championship match and a big match announced for All Star Grand Queendom 2025. We'll also be talking about the Okinawa show from Thursday, just briefly, because while it is technically a pay-per-view, it more embodies a house show. So let's get to it, starting with the very top of the Cinderella card. So we will go over the overall results. The first two matches were very simple. Fugi and Death defeated Ryan. Then EXV's Maika Wakasukiyama Hanako defeated Kira Kuragane, Tabata, and Yuria Hime. Now, let's get to the actual tournament here. So Sayaka Kurara went one-on-one with Azusa Inaba in the first Cinderella Tournament semifinal. I think through this tournament, the breakouts have been from those that you already have been seeing breakout. Azusa Inaba showcased in this match an immense amount of craftiness and experience, considering how much of experience she truly lacks. She is still so new to wrestling. She's 17 years old, but feels like a true future top star. Whether that be for Stardom, JTO, or someone else, we'll have to wait and see there. But it feels like Stardom knows what they have in her, and that's why she hit the semifinal. And I also thought she was a good opponent for Sayaka Kurara here on the final night. I will say this. I thought Kurara had a very good showing in the final. I don't think this was the breakaway showing I wanted from her necessarily. A lot of, you know, taking and willing herself away. That's kind of what this was. She took a lot of hits. She got pretty much dominated before. And this is very similar to the final match, but I think the final match worked a lot better with how that was executed. Um, but my point is that Azusa was a standout here, despite Carrara being the winner. And I think that's just kinda to Carrara's style. She is the underdog. She's not gonna get a lot of offense, but she is gonna be someone that they obviously love a lot. Obviously, they want to build up. So I didn't find a problem with it because overall, I think Sayaka Kurara did have a good night, but I do wanna give the flowers to Azusa, who continues to stand out here. Then we had the other semifinal match, the best match from the 2025 Cinderella tournament. Shouldn't come as much of a shock considering what these two wrestlers have been doing this year. On one hand, you have Hanan, who is the reigning, defending Cinderella winner against her sister, Rina, who has watched herself go from Future of Stardom champion to legitimate borderline main eventer in the company within the past year. Rina couldn't be more ready for the big time. It it's what a lot of people were saying about Hina this time last year, but Rina has the Wonder of Stardom title match now behind her, right? Hanan was entering the Cinderella tournament looking to get elevated. Rina has already been elevated. And in my heart of hearts, at the beginning of the year, I really did think she made all the sense in the world for the Cinderella tournament win. Obviously, things changed, but Rina did get the win here to make it to the finals and continue her hot streak. Like I said, the best match in this tournament. Everything that these two brought was stellar, as you'd expect, because on one side, you really do have the ultimate babyface in Hanan, and you have the heel in Rina. And these two, unsurprisingly, work incredibly well together. And considering their history, which I think is important to consider when watching them, because again, they're sisters, it just adds to the match itself. I think when I watch Rina, I'm always amazed at how much of a veteran she wrestles like. Again, this is someone who is 18 sorry, I forget how what is Rina's age at this point? She's been around for so long now. She's 18 still. Okay. I know she was celebrating something the other day. I know she had her birthday. She's 18 years old, and yet she wrestles like she is a middle of her prime veteran. The crazy part is she's only going to get better. There was always reason for Stardom fans through the years. They always saw a lot in Rina. They always thought Rina had the most potential. While Hanan had the ace feeling, the future ace feeling, and I always believe that, Rina had the opportunity to truly be a superstar, and we are seeing it unfold with her new look, the pink hair. She continues to remind us more and more, or at least myself, of Hana Kimura. Obviously, there's reason for that, and her style embodies that. But this match, down to the very end, was so exciting, so great, so worth your time. I thought it was the best match on the entire show, actually. Next up, we had some tags here. First up, Sayaka Kamitani, Natsuko Tora, Momo Watanabe, and Ruaka defeated Neo Genesis Azumi, Suzuki, Mei Sera, and Miyu Amasaki. The story continued here in this match. The disconnection between Suzuki and Mei Sera was on full display. There was a mess up at one point where Mei Sera kicked Suzu right in the face, and she was supposed to get pulled out of the ring. It was a mistiming thing. That doesn't matter. What ultimately matters is Suzu got nailed by Mei Sera, her crazy star partner, multiple times, and we are continuing to build to the breakup. And honestly, as much as I love Crazy Star, and we'll talk about this with the Okinawa show, as much as I love Crazy Star, truly probably my favorite tag team in the past 2 years, they need to go forward with the breakup. And I'll explain why when we get to the Okinawa match, but they need to go forward. Then we had God's Eye, Syuri, Saki Kashima, Rana Yagami, Lady C, and Tomoka Inaba defeating Stars, Mayu Iwatani, Saida, Momokogo, and FWC. So the importance of this match, because on paper, obviously, I think everyone can agree to this. It was like, oh, it's just a big tag. But I had said last week, well, it's interesting, obviously, because Syuri coming off the Sari match, there's something here, right? Obviously, they went to a draw, but there's something here. And ultimately, what it meant was Syuri pinning Mayu Iwatani in the middle of the ring after hitting the Syuri World, the Shusakai, to pin her big super finisher that we haven't seen in quite some time because she hasn't had to bring it out. But obviously, a massive deal. She pins Mayu Iwatani in the middle of the ring. It's been a long time since Mayu's had to really do much of anything. And the vision became very clear. At All-Star Grand Queendom 2025, it will be Mayu Iwatani putting the IWGP Women's Championship on the line against Syuri. By then, Mayu Iwatani's reign will have hit 2 years officially as champion, over 720 days with the title. An incredible accomplishment for for the wrestler I believe is the greatest of all time. And when you look at this match, and obviously we have a lot of time until this match unfolds, for me, the story becomes very clear when it comes to the IWGP Women's Championship. And this could change again, like I said, within the next month. My opinion could change on this. But I firmly believe that this will be the end of Mayu Iwatani's IWGP story. It will be Syuri reigning over as the champion because it sure does feel like the story has now gone from Mayu, Sari, and Syuri strictly to Sari and Syuri. That 30-minute draw, the moment that ended, I said to myself, they're going to come back to this. They very clearly want to come back to this. It's just a matter of who gets the belt first. And in a pivot that maybe I definitely did not expect, because I honestly thought we were getting Mayu and Sari before that match happened. In a pivot, it will probably be Syuri taking home the IWGP Women's title and eventually defending it against Hari. At least that's what I think, which is very exciting. But a massive match. You're now your top 2 All-Star Grand Queendom matches are Saya Kamitani versus Tam Nakano, career versus career World of Stardom title match, and Mayu Iwatani versus Syuri IWGP Women's title match. That alone sets the stage for All-Star Grand Queendom 2025 to potentially surpass the 2023 edition in terms of quality, which honestly, that is arguably my favorite show of all time, top to bottom. So if they come anywhere remotely close, and right now, based on the card, they are, that's an incredible accomplishment. So far, so good. Very excited to see this match, this rematch. The first time they had their match for the IWGP title at the Etienne Gate show, January 4th, 2024. It was a 5-star match, in my opinion. Now we run it back one more time between these two. Couldn't be more excited for that match. Next up, we had Mina Shirakawa versus Tekla. I won't sugarcoat it. I also meant to note that Sayaka did show up after the Tam Nakano and Sayaka defeating Aya Sakura and Yuna Mizumori match, which was a good match, by the way. That was just to invite Sayori to her Sumo Hall show. I thought it was going to be more, maybe connected to Tam, who's obviously potentially retiring in their connection. Sarah Ano also will face Tam Nakano in a singles match at the Cork and Hall show on April 2nd. Anyways, now we talk Tekla and Mina Shirakawa. This match wasn't all that good in the second half. I thought the first half was actually pretty solid, but it just fell apart, as I feel Tekla matches often do for me, which was a real shame. It was a real shame because I was like, okay, this is solid. This is kind of what you'd want out of these two at this point. And then I thought it just fell apart. Obviously, in the end, Tekla won, which was expected. She now will get a singles match with whoever she wanted. She made the point that she wanted to face Tara Okada, so shout out. I believe, let me just double check here, but she wants to face Tara Okada. He obviously was not very interested, as you'd expect him not to be interested. Why would he be interested? Um, Shout out to Reese, who commented that the obvious play was Tekla wins and fights her true nemesis Okada. I credit you with that one. You nailed it. That's exactly what she wanted. Um, Tara was not interested. That match should never be booked. And I do expect Micah to be the one to step up in Tara Okada's place whenever that comes to be. But let's get to the Cinderella Tournament Final here. That, of course, was Sayaka Kurara defeating Rina to win the match. So shout out to good friend String Six Splash, who I had on for the Cinderella predictions. Almost getting a perfect bracket. That's why I bring people on, to make me look worse. Anyways, shout out to String Six Splash and the many others who picked Sayaka Kurara to win this tournament. She did indeed win this tournament. Probably the best singles match of her career, I thought. I really thought she rose to the occasion, and a lot of that obviously has to do with the performance by Rina. Rina was able to lead this match into the right direction to allow Sayaka Kurara to stand out more. At least that's how I saw the match. It's not a blowaway match, but it's a very, very good Cinderella final. I think when I watch these Cinderella finals, you want to see where the winner is. What is the winner ready to take on? And as Kurara won here with the crowd absolutely adoring her, it proves that, one, if you're a Cosmic Angel, you're over. But two, it proved that wherever this decision leads, it may in fact be the right one. Now, if it reverses the retirement of Tam Nakano, we can walk that one back. But if it is something for Kurara specifically to step into a big match, I still like the idea of the Goddesses title match for her and Tam, despite having to pivot to the Okinawa match. I think it still works for Sayaka Kamitani post Tam retirement as well. But we'll have to wait and see. It doesn't seem like it's going to be Starlight Kid based on her comments. But we'll have to wait and see. But obviously, congratulations to Kurara. Putting Rina in this spot again was a sign of trust, I think, that they have with her. And also gave Kurara a heel to overcome in the end. Kurara is their chosen one out of the rookie groupings, and she has been for quite some time. She is the apprentice of Tam Nakano, so it shouldn't be a shock, or protege, or whatever you want to call her. And she has now had her moment. She is now the Cinderella winner. She had a great dress and crown and everything. Very interested to see where she goes. Kurara is someone I was a big fan of when she debuted with the spear and the springboards. I think she should get back to the explosive offense, but she hit the best spear of her career. She was running back and forth off the ropes and absolutely took Rina out. That was awesome. Um, I think it's very clear that Kurara has a very bright future. I don't think I need to be the one to tell anyone that. But giving her this moment is obviously a chance to elevate a wrestler. And while I would have picked Rina, probably, well, not in this situation, but while I had different thoughts for this, for what they set this tournament out to be, which was a breakout tournament, they accomplished that goal. Kurara is now in the driver's seat. She now has a wish to use. She said she would not use it that night. The whatever she wanted was not in place and not at that time. So we'll wait and see what that wish becomes. But congratulations to Sayaka Kurara, who had a very strong night overall. And of course, shout out to Rina for her incredible night in the two matches. And then we had the main event of the show. Starlight Kid defending the Wonder of Stardom Championship against Konami. Starlight Kid entering this match, obviously injured. That wasn't a secret. I think everyone knew that going into it. But she's very injured. That was very apparent in this match, and I've done digging. She's been injured for quite some time. If you go on threads, she has said that she's been hurt essentially since the match with Natsupoi. I believe she said her shoulder has been injured, and as you saw in this match, it was completely taped up, and the pain hasn't really gone away. This is a champion who has had some of the best matches of the year, seemingly injured, but she seems to have aggravated it to a level where this is her last match for a bit. And this match was pretty brutal. Konami did not hold back. In many ways, I thought Konami was a devastating opponent for her. And I love the new Konami gear, by the way. I thought she looked like a superstar. Um, this match was slowed down. I think you obviously could tell that Kid was working hurt, but they maximized to me what the match was. I've seen some people call it weird, not bad, but weird. I enjoyed it. I really did. It's actually a match that I think proved the lanes that Starlight Kid is able to go. Um, in terms of her overall skill set, she is very decorated in different types of matches. Obviously, the Rina defense was one where she had to play a little bit more heelish, while this match, she was the underdog champion, the underdog babyface champion. At one point in the match, she is kicked by Konami, the punt kick that they've been selling, and she was busted right open. The mixture of the white mask with a black spray paint and now a bloody, gushing nose was truly insane. But it elevated the match, in my opinion, to a point where I I ultimately thought it was great in the end. I really did. I really thought it was great in the end. Like, I honestly, when you are watching or, like, when I'm watching Kid, she is so great at what she does. She is such a great baby face, in my opinion, that I'm on the edge of my seat for what's next every single time. And her being able to put Konami away despite the injury, despite the devastation, was a great moment for her and for her title reign. Like I said, I actually thought this match was great. I'm probably higher on it than most. But the scenes of it, the story of it, the underdog mentality of it, I'm always been invested in Starlight Kid. So seeing her overcome in the end is something I'm very used to with her and something that I really enjoyed here in this match. Um, After the match, Starlight Kid pretty much revealed she's gonna be out for a while. The match with Sayaka Kamitani on the opening day of spring vacation in Okinawa was delayed from this moment. She's gonna be out for about a month. I think. I think that's probably the current mindset. She pretty much made it clear the goal is to be ready for Queendom. She made that very apparent, I thought, in her words, her comments. Um, I don't think that was always the plan. I think they would have liked to set up another match. Obviously, the Kamatani one being a big one, big selling point for Okinawa. But she seems to be out until WrestleMania week, which she's been announced for Dragon Gate USA. She was announced for the Stardom shows, obviously, and Spark, I believe. I don't know how much she's going to be able to compete. That would be 4 matches. Maybe she limits herself, but it feels like that is her timetable right now. And obviously, nothing is more important for her and for Stardom than getting her ready for Queendom. So we'll see if she's able to, in fact, make all those dates. Seems like she's determined to, and I hope she gets back because right now, that's my wrestler of the year, folks. Absolutely fantastic. She's been amazing this year. Now let's head to Okinawa for spring vacation 2025. Like I said, I didn't get through this full show today. It's more of a house show, so we're just going to go over results. But there were 3 matches I wanted to hit on because there's importance there. There's importance there for various reasons, various talking points. Um, but yeah, I didn't want to, or I didn't get to watch them all because, like I said, I'm kind of there's so much to talk about. I didn't think missing these results would matter too much. But let's talk about the debut of newest rookie and Kanaya, who was revealed over the weekend. She faced Yuna Mizumori. I'm in. Listen. If you listen to the show, if you listen to me, I like to put my stock in a lot of the young new generation. And I've been right. This was a good week for me to be right. Shout out to Chi Chi. I am putting I am buying stock in Kanaya because there hasn't been a Stardom rookie with this much charisma and personality in who knows how long. But the addition to that is, as we saw in the debut match against Yuna Mizumori, she's just really good. I was very impressed with what Kanaya brought to the table. She brought something very, very similar to um, Natsupoi's the fairy twist or spiral, whatever it's called, pin that got me good. That was an incredible near fall. Her drop kicks were good. Her She's just a great natural baby face. I walked away saying Stars makes a lot of sense. I know people are gonna pick Cosmic Angels. I don't want her to be behind Kurara and I think that's just too much. I think Stars makes a lot of sense. Finally, a rookie for Stars or Neo Genesis. I saw a lot of people say that. I think that makes a ton of sense as well. But no matter what, I am excited for what Ann Kanaya is bringing to the table. Feels like she really stood out immediately. And I thought Yuna Mizumori gave her a very good match as well. Let's just go over some of the other results before we talk about the other two matches worth discussing on this show. You had Saki Kashima, Hina, and Lady C, and Tomoka Inaba defeat Momo Watanabe, Konami, Rina, and Azusa Naba. So that was a big shock. Obviously, the more loaded hate team, but hey, Saki Kashima is going to do what she does. You know, you had O2 line defeat Micah and Rian. You also had a three-way battle as Hanako pinned Aya Sakura. Rana Yagami was also in the three-way match. So the continued rivalry between those two heading into New Blood 20, which we will preview here in a second. You had the preview match for the title match on Saturday. Mayu Iwatani, Momo Kogo, Hazuki, and Koguma defeated Hanan, Saida, Kira Kuragane, and Yuri Hime when Momo Kogo pinned Hanan to get the win. So obviously a big moment for her. Might spell not much success for them in the end, but that is what happened. You had Tam Nakano and Sayoriano defeat Mina Shirakawa and Waka Tsukiyama. So as we walk down the potential retirement road for Tam, she continues to face off with many, many, many wrestlers from her history. But now we kind of get to the matches I did want to talk about. And there's Ann Kanai and her new gear or her gear. I thought again, potential star here. But now we get to Crazy Star versus BMI 2000. As I said at the top of the show, as much as I love Crazy Star, they have to go through on this turn. I feel like a lot in the past year under the Taro Okada booking, we've had a lot of teases of breakups, but ultimately things stick. Obviously, Hazuki was seemingly planning on moving on from Stars or something of the sort. That didn't happen. It feels like the expected almost never happens or doesn't happen again as expected. This is one of those times the expected should happen. The story you are telling in front of us should go through. Suzuki doesn't fit in Neo Genesis right now. I think her overall character following the two losses for the World of Stardom Championship, a loss at Rina Yamashita at Crazy Fest, continuous pinfall losses, the loss in the Wingori match. That Wingori match felt like the final big match for Crazy Star. And as they continue the story here between Suzu and Mei Sera, it is very apparent that we are on our way. They were off and off and off and off and off. They ultimately lost to BMI 2000. It was Suzuki who got pinned by Ruaka. There's no reason for these two to stick together with how things are going. And it does feel like that, again, a Suzuki to potentially hate is a fit. If that is the case, someone's going to need to leave hate. We know who we want that to be. But my ultimate take here is indeed Suzuki should move on from Neo Genesis, from Crazy Star. Set up a big time match between Suzu and Mei Sera. I'm all in on that. But it feels like that is the path we need to go here right now. Then our main event of the evening was Saya Kamitani defeating Sayaka Kurara. So this was the pivot after Starlight Kid, and now she could not compete in this match. They instead went with the World of Stardom champion against the Cinderella tournament winner. much of the same as we've seen between these two. I think, again, when I pitched this match, the idea of it for the World of Stardom Championship, it needed to be in a crowd super invested in Kurara. That is often Cork and Hall. I think this match would have just been naturally better had it been in Cork and Hall because the crowd was pretty quiet for it. Overall, I thought the work was good. I thought Sayaka Kamitani was great as she's often been. And Kurara was solid in the underdog role. That's her role. She hits her shock spear, but mostly dominated by Kamitani, and rightfully so. Um, Overall, like I said, I thought it was a good match, and a fine pivot for the main event because, what else are you gonna do? You lost your main event days before, and I understand that. Um, so a fine way to fix it, and I appreciate the story, and this was a way to continue the Saya story instead, and I think that is a smart move if you can't get the Starlight Kid match. So good main event here. I do think that we should hit the Starlight Kid match somewhere down the line. I think there's a great idea of actually Starlight Kid being a challenger for Kamitani while being Wonder Stardom champion, not a double title match, a one-on-one World of Stardom title match. I think that would be a perfect challenge. It's okay, I think, for the Wonder Champion to lose in that situation because they're not supposed to be equals. The World Champion's supposed to be higher, but Starlight Kid could try to prove it in said match. So I think that's how they should go about that, but we will see. A fine show, not a pay-per-view show, which is what it's offered as. But I think this Saturday, which is also day 2 of Spring Vacation 2025, is at least closer to pay-per-view value. So let's get to it. This show is indeed in Okinawa in the same building. First up, you'll have Maika, Mina Shirakawa, and Hanako team up. They'll face Kira Kuragane, Yuri Hime, and Anne Kanaya in the opening match. You'll then have Saki Kashima versus Waka Tsukiyama versus Miyu Amasaki in three-way action. Tomoki Inaba faces Rion one-on-one. This should be a fun one. In one of the better matches, I think, of the Stardom weekend, you'll have FWC, Hazuki, and Koguma team up to face Devil and Princess Rina and Azusa Naba. I'm very much looking forward to that matchup. We'll see what the connection is between Su Suzuki and Mei Sera as they will team up with Azumi to face Hina, Lady C, and Rana Yagami. And then in your semi-main event, as you can see here, if you're watching on YouTube, it'll be Tam Nakano, Yuna Mizumori, Sayori Ano, Aya Sakura, and Sayaka Kurara. They'll face the hate team of Saya Kamitani, Momo Watanabe, Natsuko Tora Ruaka, and Konami. Big time matchup here between the two factions. Again, continuing the story of Nakano and Kamitani. Then your main event will be the Lone Championship match at Spring Vacation 2025. It'll be Wing Gory putting the Goddesses of Stardom titles on the line against Peach Rock, Mayu Iwatani, Momokogo. Like I said, Momokogo got the pin on Hanan on day one. Feels like the type of momentum you give to someone who's in the end going to lose. I'm just excited for a big Mayu match. It's been a long time since we've gotten a big Mayu match in any form. It's a title match, it's a main event. She's going to perform. She's going to go out there with Hanan, Saida, and Momokogo and tear it down. I think this has a chance to be great. It's also very exciting to see Momokogo get the big opportunity that she so often deserves. There's no world that Wingori should be losing this match. I will also say that. But I am excited to see how it all plays out. So that's Vacation 2025 this Saturday. We'll review the whole show on next week's podcast. But that's not it for Stardom. Stardom New Blood 20 is next Thursday live on YouTube. And it's definitely one of the best cards they've put together in quite some time for a New Blood show. I'm very excited about this show. First up, you have Kanaya going one-on-one with Rina. So very excited. That is going to be the next singles match for Kanaya, especially after she stood out to me on that show, or in her debut, I should say. Tomoka Inaba will team up with Akira Kuragane to face Sayaka Kurara and Yuri Hime. Wingori will be in action on this show. They'll face Kari Oniyama and Rian, so that should be a fun one. Hina and Rani Yagami team up to face. This was a bit of a shock. Teihonma and Kakuro Sakaguchi. So that was a shock to me. If I remember correctly, I think actually I don't know. Never mind. No, Teihonma's challenged for the wave tags, but I think it's Mike Ozaki. Anyways, still a shock. Interesting to see what that leads to. Saya Kamitani will also be on the show to do a Regina de Wave preview match. It will be Saya Kamitani, Ruaka, and Azusa Naba facing Kohaku, Saran, and Saya Kamitani's upcoming opponent, Hanoka, who she will defend the title against at Shinjuku Face at the top of April. We will get the match that was canceled and just tap out. Tam Nakano will go one-on-one with Misa Kagura. Obviously, a big time singles match there. Like I said, this is a packed new blood show. They knew number 20 meant something, which is very cool. And then in the main event, the new blood tag belts will be on the line. It will be Hanako and Waka Tsukiyama defending against Aya Sakura and Yuna Mizumori. I say this with every part of my being. I need to belt Aya Sakura so bad. So bad. Also, get Yuna a belt. That would be real. I need the title change here. Need it. Need it. Hanako has been beating Aya endlessly. She needs to get the win here. Obviously, I'm a massive Aya Sakura fan, but it feels like this is the payoff at the big 20, at the big 2-0. Aya Sakura, Yuna Mizumori, new blood tag champs. Let's get it done. But this show looks great. Looking forward to it. We'll talk about it next week as well. Now we head over to TJPW to review Grand Princess 2025. Your full card once again. Just to go quickly over the undercard because I don't have too many thoughts on those matches. You had Yoshiko Hasegawa and Mifushida defeat Shino Suzuki and Himawari. Kakeru Sakaguchi, Haruna Neko, Mahiru Kiryu, and Ivy Steele defeat Kaya Toribami, Chika Nanase, Kira Summer, and Uda Takami. Maxi Impaler defeated Moka Miyamoto in one-on-one action. Aja Kong, Yuki Kamifuku, and Wakana Uehara defeated Yoki Aino, Toga, and Haru Kazushiro. And now we get to the big time matches, starting with the first title match on the show. It was the setup All Asia Women's Championship match. Raku defeated Pam Harajuku for the championship. You know how I feel about these matches if you've listened to this podcast for a long time. I'm not big on the comedy matches. I'm not a big fan of either of these two. I did not enjoy it, but I know TJPW fans did, very likely, and that's what matters. They were very silly, the sleeping gimmick, and you know, Palm used Red Bull to stay awake. That made me laugh. The energy drink was funny. That was a good little bit. But Raku got the win, which was a real shock. Raku now holds gold. So those are my quick thoughts on that match. But let's get to the big five here, the main talking points, starting with Willow Nightingale versus Miyu Watanabe. This match was very good. The only problem is that they should have had way more time. Being this low on the card means that they were never going to get the amount of time that I think everyone would have loved to see. Right? That was always a problem. And that's fine. But with Willow and Miyu and the big matchup, you want to see them get like 16 minutes. They got 10. You know, 10 wasn't enough to tell their story, but there was so much enjoyment. This was legitimately like the most smiley, happy match you could see of two people that were, powerlifting each other and hitting each other as hard as they could. Like, this was really good for what it was. I just wanted more time, and honestly, they should run the rematch back ASAP, as soon as possible. I don't care where, I don't care when. They should run the rematch back, though. Not a shock, obviously, that Willow Nightingale got the victory. Next up, we had Meiko Satomura face Yuki Arai in one-on-one action. Obviously, Meiko Satomura retiring soon enough. I don't have too many thoughts on this. I mean, it was about as expected. It was mostly Meiko destroying Yuki Arai and Yuki Arai getting a few offensive moments. Um, I'm not the biggest Yuki Arai fan. I really did believe in her initially, but as time has gone on, I haven't seen the strides that maybe I wanted to. I still think it can be there, but this was, your signature have the veteran beat up on the TJPW wrestler and see them lose, and it sets up a bigger stage for them, which I still do think they're going to go all the way with Yuki Arai winning the Princess Cup and eventually winning the belt. Um, Mako was good. Mako was always good. Um, but yeah, this show overall, I'm just gonna say this now, was a bit underwhelming for me in terms of my hype going into it. Because I really thought this could have been one of their great, great shows. But besides the main event, I feel like everything was mostly under delivered, which is a shame. My second favorite match on the night, though, was my most hyped match, and that was the International Princess Championship match, Suzume versus Arisu Endo. Very good chemistry between these two, as you'd expect. Obviously, the Daisy Monkey duo has great chemistry. Um, there's never going to be a part of me that isn't rooting all the way for Arisu Endo to win, because I do think she's absolutely my favorite TJPW wrestler. Um, Suzume won with the springboard cutter, which is her new super finisher. Just really good work here. And when you watch these two wrestle, I think you always walk away like TJPW, if and when Maki Ito and Miyu Yamashita ever actually move on, or when they keep going on the excursion, these two are here to step up. That's why they were in a big title match. And it would be wrong if neither of them ever hold the Princess of Princess Championship, because I do think there is potential there. Like I said, I think Endo is the better of the two, honestly, but Suzume deserves this title reign. Suzume deserves to hold this belt and continue on. So I thought the match was good. I thought the finish was very much exciting and ideal, and there was still great friendship between them, so they won't be breaking up or anything, which is always good. Your semi-main event was the Princess Tag title match. It was Miyu Yamashita and Makito defending against Hyper Masao and Shoko Nakajima. This was not to the levels I wanted it to be. Um, I think it was underwhelming for myself, for TJPW fans, really for everyone. The closing stretch was very exciting, and up to par with what you expected for the rest of the match. But I didn't think Maki Ito had her best showing, and I've long been a fan of Maki Ito. I think she often rises to the occasion, especially in the big match. But this was not the case there. Um, Giving Hyper Masao the win over Miyu Yamashita, obviously a major deal. But another thing for me watching this is that Miyu Yamashita, for me, feels very disconnected from TJPW, and I don't like that. I don't like that at all because she is TJPW, and I understand she's accomplished everything and probably should move on, but I don't want her to. I want her to fully recommit to TJPW or something. There just needs to be something there. Her heading to the US slash Europe for 3 months again. It's tough. It's tough to invest, and I think TJPW fans will agree. It's hard to fully invest in these two because they're always out the door for a couple months, and then they come back around and they'll be back for Wrestle Princess, but it's hard to invest, which is awful because the reason I was so interested in TJPW was because of these two, not because of the stuff they did in America or anything, not because of what Maki did in America, because of what they were doing in TJPW, because of the story these two created. And it feels like that story, no matter if it's ever paid off or not, doesn't matter as much to myself, doesn't matter as much to the fans, and I think that really sucks. Now, a story that was paid off here was Hyper Masao and Shoko Nakajima finally winning the tag belt, so congratulations to them. Interested to see where the title reign goes. But yeah, I was I was let down by this match because I've seen them have a great match, and this wasn't that. And finally, your main event of the evening, far and away the best match of the show. That was the Princess of Princess Championship match. Mizuki successfully defending the belts for the first time since winning it against Rika Tatsumi. I don't know if I need to keep saying this because I think TJPW fans do a better job at saying it than I ever will. But Rika Tatsumi truly does belong in the best conversations. Like, she has been, for my money, the most consistent wrestler in TJPW for the past couple years. Really, since Yamashita started going international a bit more, it feels to me that Rika Tatsumi has stepped up into that role of, you need a great match, you need a great performance, you need a great main event, you put me there. And she does it. This match with Mizuki I thought was great, legitimately great. One of, if not the best TJPW matches of the year. Um, Mizuki is fantastic. I think she's leveled up even from her first title reign to feeling not only like a confident champion, but she's such an exciting champion with what she's able to bring out. The foot stomps, obviously the whirling candy, the cutie special, the one that she hit from the top rope was crazy. She's excellent. She's really excellent. And I think she deserves her flowers a bit more from myself than anything else. Um, and she's really here to what feels like kind of carry TJPW on her back moving forward. We'll see how much she can do now that the big Rika defense is over. Miyu won't be around, Maki won't be around, but I'm hopeful that things go right as we build now to Summer Sun Princess. But this match was legitimately great, well worth your time if you haven't seen it. Um, yeah, it's exactly what you want from the big title match in TJPW. Now let's get to Sendai Girls, the top of Joshi Wrestling. Much like the TJPW show, the undercard will be very brief here. But we had Maria go one on one with Minami, winning in 5 minutes. Maria winning with a drop kick and a shock pin. This was a letdown for sure. What they did was good, but the instant win out of nowhere was definitely upsetting for Minami, especially on the big show, right? For all the work she's put in. It felt like a bummer. It really did. It really did. It felt like a bummer. Um, because I think they were positioned right to have a hot opener, and just when they were starting to get going, the match ended. So I thought that was a shame. But obviously, very much appreciate these two talents. Would love to see them run it back here sometime in the future. Next up, we had Hanoka, Zones, Ira Suzuki, and Yuna team up. They faced off with Venny, Lana Cross, Yu, and Nina Samuels in tag team action. Shouldn't be a shock that Yu got the win, pinning Yuna. A fine, solid match. Always good to see Lana Cross back, especially. I think she's really become a breakout because of the moment in Sendai Girls. Nina Samuels filled in for Hiroyo Matsumoto, did just fine. Even more so, great to see you back. I think it's my first match I've seen from you since she returned to wrestling. Looks like she hasn't missed a step in her, month and a half off or what. I know it's not a long time off, but hiatus is a hiatus. And Benny rules. That's all. Benny rules. You then had the Legends match. Aja Kong, Takako Inoue, and Kyoko Inoue defeating Shikayo Nagashima, Yurika Oka, and Ryo Mizunami. Actually, my apologies. Shin Sakura Hirota and Jaguar Yokota was first. It was Hirota comedy. She even got in on Daichi, referee Daichi from Stardom, which was very funny. Who was reffing the match. Jaguar, of course, ended up winning. But to the other Legends match, I should say. Um, Lots of legends on the show. You had Yurika Oka really trying to bring it. I thought this match actually over delivered this trios match. I thought it was better than expectation. Aja Kong still rules. Not that I need to say it, but she still rules. Poor Yurika Oka, man. Yurika Oka deserves the world. But with no Mio Momono around, unfortunately, this is her role right now. It sucks, but it's the truth. She deserved a big match on the show for what she's put in the past year. But losing to Aja Kong, you could be in worse spots. So that's that on that match. But let's get to the big four here. This is a little miscombobulated. My apologies. So we will do this the best we can. Risa Sera, Dash Chisako, hardcore match. Holy shit. These two were insane. Absolutely insane. The best Dash Chisako match is pretty much what this looks like. If there's not going to be any blood, if there's not going to be any color, which Dash does not usually do in a hardcore match, except for the Momo one where it happened on accident, this is the best you're going to execute it. Big table spots, big scary table spots, by the way. Non-stop action. Fantastic selling because they were in pain. Just everything you want from two badass wrestlers. Dash Chisako went crashing from a ladder in the ring down to the table on the outside. That terrified me. I'm sure I'm not the only one that was terrified. You had Risa Sera and Dash just throwing chairs at each other, dropping each other on chairs, like the full attack, the full nastiness. It was so good though. Then you saw Dash Chisako get her Jeff Hardy moment, which was awesome. Filled my heart with happiness. Dash Chisako climbs the beam on the outside and it comes crashing down with a splash onto Risa Sera. She then followed up with another splash in the ring from the ladder down to Risa Sera, who was covered in chairs to get the win. A very good match from the two hardcore specialists. Then we, of course, had Aya Sakura versus Chi Chi for the Sendai Girls World Junior Championship. This match was everything I wanted to be. I always feel kind of wrong when when I go out of my way to take a victory lap. But every time I watch Chi Chi wrestle, it's hard not to want to take a victory lap. This is the leader of the new generation. The new generation of rookies that includes Chi-Chi, Aya Sakura, Sayaka Kurara, Victoria Yuzuki, Suriyama Yoka, Soy, Zones, now and Kamaya, Akira Kuragane, Hanako, Maria Kuga, all these great young, new rookie wrestlers who have debuted over the past 2 years. Chi-Chi is the leader of this new generation. She is the one taking the bulls by the horns and running forward and continuously delivering. And Aya Sakura, this rivalry was everything from her, dating back to that first match that she had with her in the junior tournament final, where I remember watching that and I was like, holy crap, where did this come from? They went long in that match, but they delivered. Fast forward to the beginning of the year when they faced off again. It was great. It was great. And I think it's their best match still. But you come down to the rematch. This is full of attack, full of constant action. It was awesome. It was awesome. And you see Aya Sakura just days after Sayaka Kurara seemingly kind of passed her by winning the Cinderella. She instead wins her first title, and it's an emotional moment for me. It's an emotional moment for anyone who is invested in her. Her story has been fascinating. When she debuted in 2023, I remember seeing her, I was like, oh, she's kick base. That's exciting. She was fine, and then she got hurt. It was an injury that was a back injury that left her out for a long time, to the point that she said, she didn't know if she was going to come back. She couldn't even walk for a while. And she comes back in 2024. She comes back with this weird gear. She joins Cosmic Angels. I remember at the time, I was like, what? What? Does that even make sense? And it sure did. It sure did. For the new direction of the Angels and for the new direction of her, it made all the sense in the world. She then continues to progress from there, continuously showing growth, continuously showing acknowledgement of who she is and the wrestler she's going to be. And by the time we get to this moment, she has evolved from that first show to now. This is exactly what you want to see out of a rookie competitor. She is so deserving of this moment. It was an emotional moment for me. Listen, it was win-win. Aya Sakura winning, win for me. Chi-Chi winning, win for me. Chi-Chi reestablished this belt. Now Aya Sakura can lead the way with this belt around her waist. Congratulations to her. Truly amazing moment and a very, very good match. We'll head back now to the tag team match, the Sendai Girls World Tag Team title match. There may not be a more consistent set of belts in Joshi than these when it comes to, oh, this is going to be good. You just know what a Sendai Girls tag title match is. High action, two teams ready to bring it all for the belts. It was Micah and Hanako versus Red Energy, Miko Wada, Miyuki Takase. I thought there was a chance that Micah and Hanako would win to further the story between Micah and Sendai Girls, but no. Red Energy made sure to win when Awada pinned Hanako. The best work in this match, I thought, was from Micah and Awada, which shouldn't come as much of a shock. But I thought Takase did a really good job with Hanako, actually. Early on, I thought those two worked well together. But the win was for Red Energy. So they did get their first successful defense, which was very nice to see. I was a bit worried they wouldn't even get that. So that's what you want to see from two wrestlers like them. This isn't it for Micah and Sendai Girls, though, which we'll get to here in a second. But then you had the main event. Shiro Hashimoto challenging Meiko Satomura for the Sendai Girls World Championship in a fantastic match. I implore you to go check out the Check It Out video that me and Xavi did talking about this match on my channel, because we went into full depth of the meaning of this match and why it was so important. But to give a brisk summary of my thoughts, Shiro Hashimoto is truly and has been one of the best in the world for a long time. And Meiko Satomura, my God, why are you retiring? I know why you're retiring. You want to go away, and that's fine, but you're still like at the top of your game. You are still delivering on such a high level. It feels like have you've never grown older. You've just been in your prime for years and years now. Mako has not lost a step. If anything, she's gained a step. She is so great. She is so great. And she knows that Hashimoto is someone she can bring it to, and Hashimoto is going to take it and then give it right back. The story between these two is truly an incredible story. And this was the official passing of the torch once and for all for Sendai Girls and the future of this promotion. Uh, this felt like the biggest match in the world. They wrestled it like it was the biggest match in the world. It's a match that I can't wait to rewatch because when you watch Chiro Hashimoto, she does the little things better than almost anyone. It's the little things that you don't notice on first watch, you'll notice on second watch. This was phenomenal. A true match of the year contender once again from Joshi. I think that's 4 weeks in a row now. In my book, at least, of match of the year contenders. It's been a sensational run, and Mako Satomura has lost the title once and for all. Very likely, if I had to guess, her final title match ever, which is an emotional moment. Um, but congratulations to Chiro Hashimoto. It feels right for her to be back on top as champion. So just a fantastic match, an awesome show, an easy watch of a show. If you haven't watched it, go out of your way to watch it. It was so good. Just worth noting. I don't know if I'll get to watch this for next week's recording, but Sendai Girls is right back at it this weekend. They're heading to Sato Island for a show, a 4-match card. The match card is as follows: Riko Kawahara versus Yuna, Dash Chisako versus Minami. Takumi Iroha teams up with Yurika Oka to face the reformed Team 200 kilograms. The first time Team 200 kilograms are back together since Yu's return. And then your main event, Aja Kong and Mako Satomura potentially facing off for the last time as Aja Kong teams up with Maria, while Mako Satomura teams up with Mako Wada. So that should be another fun show. And that will, in fact, be on Wrestle Universe. So you don't have to worry about that. The final match review here today, because I did sneak this in before recording, was Veni versus Yamiko Hoda for the Sendai Girls for the Beyond the Sea Singles Championship inside a steel cage. This was a match I was super excited about, super looking forward to, especially because of their preview tag. And unfortunately, I was underwhelmed. It was a real bummer. It was a real bummer because the intentions were there of the all-out war. You had Los Egos helping Veni. You had Miku Kane flying off the top of the cage to take out them and help Hoda and take out Veni. You had all the. It felt like you had all the pieces. You had the blood. You know, Hoda was bleeding like crazy. You had it. It just didn't have the excitement level you wanted. And a big reason for that for me was the over the top rope rule that I can't, or sorry, not over the top rule, escape the cage rule that I'll never enjoy. It doesn't matter. It just takes away so much from a steel cage match. When you take that rule out and it's just down to pin, submission, knockout, whatever it may be, it makes a steel cage so much better. And watching Hoda, who is obviously older, try to climb the ladder to get out of it was just not working. They did their best. They put in a great effort. The match just didn't click for me, and that was really unfortunate because I was really looking forward to it. And I know, these two are amazing wrestlers, obviously. But I'm interested to see where Veni goes. I'd like to see the Miku Kane challenge, honestly. I think that would be fantastic. But we'll see where she goes now as champion. A rare miss for me when it comes to Veni matches these days. But I thought she did everything she could. It's the match situation and how it was set up. Escape the cage just wasn't the way to go, especially with Hoda in the way she is. Real quick here, just to give an idea of what's coming up over in Marigold. They're back on the road this weekend. A 5-match card, which features Mai Sakurai and Miku Ano teaming up to face Natsumi Suzuki and Chika Goto. And of course, a main event that will see Utami Hayashishita, Mirai, Victoria Yuzuki, and Rei Seto team up. They'll face Darkness Revolution, Bozilla, Chiaki, Nagisa Nozaki, and Misa Matsui. This will be the final preview match out of the Cork and Hall show in 2 Sundays on the 30th, where Utami will defend the title against Bozilla. And they did announce, well, we talked about it last week, so I'll talk about it now here. They did announce that the Marigold versus Marvelous match to kick things off between the two factions will be next week. It will be Nanae Takahashi teaming up with X against Takumi Aroha and Senka Okatsuki. Love seeing Senka get announced for this match. That's one to really look forward to. If I had to guess who Nanae's partner is, I think they're waiting for the hopeful return of Seri Yamaoka. If it's not Seri Yamaoka, I would assume it ultimately ends up being Victoria Yuzuki as the fill-in, but we'll have to wait and see. But I just wanted to briefly touch on that before we wrap up here today's show. Thank you, everyone, for listening and joining me for the 5-Star Joe Show. Hopefully, you enjoyed the reviews, you enjoyed everything. Like I said, 3.5 hours sleep, not too bad though. Tried to watch everything. Next week we'll be back to talk Okinawa Spring Vacation Day 2 from Stardom, as well as New Blood 20 and what they have the following weekend, because they do have a Cork in the week after. We'll be previewing the Marigold Korakuen and what that looks like. Should be a great show. We'll be talking the Sendai Girls show if it gets up in time. And let's see what else we have on the docket. Like I said, Stardom has a show. Oh, Sendai Girls will be right back at it with a Shinjuku Face show on the 3rd of April. So we'll probably be able to talk about that as well in a preview. Sayaka Kamitani defends the title against Hanoka in Wave. We'll talk about it. We probably won't get to see it, but we will talk about it. And anything else that comes up in the Joshi world, because the Joshi world never stops. And that's why this podcast never stops. That's why my channel never stops, because I love talking about Joshi with all of you. So thank you, everyone, for listening. Again and again and again. It's always super appreciated. It was an incredible week in the world of Joshi. We'll be back at it next week. Stay tuned. If you're on the channel, please like, comment, subscribe. Never miss anything we got going on here. I also ask, if you are listening on MP3, go check out the YouTube channels you have at youtube.com/@ScottEWrestling. We have the Check It Out series. We have the 5-Star Joshi show on here. We have a lot more ideas coming up the pipeline as well. So definitely make sure to subscribe so we can get some more content going, some more exciting going. And yeah, last thing, if you haven't, subscribe to the Joshi Informer, the JoshiInformer.substack.com each and every Friday morning. That drops from me and Rob Goodwin of the Stardom Cast. This week's a packed one. You're not going to want to miss it. So thank you, everyone. I appreciate every single one of you for listening. And until next time, so long. See you later.